Hello and welcome to the Shelter in Place Show, Day 3, March 27th, 2020. My name's Ben. This is Rebecca, and we're recording this from the Baja California Peninsula in Mexico. This event, the COVID-19 thing, it all went down while we were on the road traveling here in our 4x4 expedition vehicle.
In today's show, we're going to talk about why we decided to stay in Mexico and shelter in place during this event. We're also going to visit the local farm stand for some fresh produce, and we'll pick some oranges to make fresh squeezed orange juice here from the farm.
We're going to take a walk to the local produce stand and take a shot at answering those burning questions from you guys. Why did we choose to stay in Mexico, and how long can we stay here? And I think by the end of this little discussion, you'll clearly know where we're coming from.
I think the first thing we have to talk about is the fact that regardless of where we chose to stop, the responsible thing to do was get off the road. Not only for our health, but also for the social impact that we would have on others.
Up until this point, we had been staying on some seriously awesome remote beaches here in Baja. Some were right off the highway. Some were like 40 clicks down a bumpy dirt road and over mountains. It was fabulous. But there came a point in times like these, humans can behave really badly, and we're traveling by ourselves, and we did not feel safe being by ourselves in remote locations. Now, I'll put a caveat on that. I would not feel safe above the border or below the border by ourselves in this situation.
Ben's question then begs another question of how many people is too many people in a situation like this. So the ideal solution seemed to be to find a small campground on some private property with a few other people there, so that we're not alone, but we're also not exposing ourselves to the masses who might have the virus.
One thing's for sure, we did not want to be near a large population center, whether above or below the border as well. You'll notice a pattern. A lot of our viewpoints are just more core values, and the Mexico and America part didn't really matter too much. But we needed to think long term, because this could be ugly. So we strategically looked for areas that were near natural freshwater sources, nearby the ocean for fish, and if there's agriculture in the area, that's all good for long-term survival during this mess.
Something else that weighed into our decision-making factor were the reports we were hearing from home. Things don't sound so great up there. Lots of the RV parks and campgrounds are closing, which makes it hard for full-timers to find a place to stay. Grocery stores, they're having runs on food and supplies. Everything just sounds a little rougher and kind of hard. And for the moment, it's not like that down here. And so we thought we'd at least take advantage of this time, when things are good here, to sit in one place and watch how everything evolves.
Well, there are some obvious safety concerns, and I'll present these as whether they're above or below the border, because I do generally feel very safe here in Baja California, Mexico. But let's touch on civil unrest. If things get bad, humans are going to behave badly. Desperate times, desperate measures. You cannot deny that. But up there in the lower 48, there are a lot of guns. Down here in Mexico, the general civilian population is not allowed to carry guns. I personally don't mind guns. We go hunting at home in Alaska. We're not the type of people that just shoot bottles and paper at the range. We actually use them to feed our family up north. So we do value a firearm. But you can look at it from two ways. There's more guns up there, so desperate people, everybody to some degree, has a gun in the United States. Down here, only the criminals have guns. So criminals have guns up north, civilians have guns up north, only criminals have them down here. Take it for what it is.
Next topic to discuss is what are our limiting factors for being in Mexico? How long can we stay? And those really boil down to three things: auto insurance, health insurance, and our tourist visa. So let's start with auto insurance. Luckily, we ended up buying a 6-month policy because we planned to be here for 5 weeks, and a 5-week policy was more expensive than a 6-month policy. So we got lucky there. We always kind of tend to do that so that we have a little wiggle room. And I guess in this case, we might need it. Secondly is your FMM. That is the tourist visa issued to people who visit Mexico. And it is good for 6 months as well, across the board. So we're good there. Then is the health insurance. And this is a factor that has called a lot of people home. Either they live in Canada and they were advised their health insurance wouldn't be good anymore if they didn't come home, with exceptions, or they had traveler's insurance and it was canceled when all of this started. Luckily for us, we have plans to travel overseas in the very near future. And so, as you probably know, we purchased global health insurance. If you'd like to learn more about that, we did make a video all about it. We'll put it in the description of the video. Does it mean we're going to stay here for 6 months? No, I don't think that's very likely at all. But the option is there to stay for a period of time should we need it.
Well, another dose of reality are the financial limitations, concerns, restrictions. This situation is messy, and I think it's going to hit all of us in one way or another, and I hope you're faring well through it. But this is personally challenging for us because we are self-employed, small business owners, and we live off of all of our various efforts. Stock footage, that industry's taking a hit. Our bed and breakfast in Alaska, what reservations we did have, canceled, and there sure as heck is nothing new rolling in. This is the little troublemaker that came up and said hi at the produce stand. He is a cute little puppy, guys.
He's so sweet.
Yes.
He sure
He's
loves
a
a
puppy,
good tummy
huh?
rub. I think we'll do a bundle of cilantro and some carrots and some green onions. We have to get some radishes because they're Ben's favorite.
Oh, look at that celery.
Yum, celery.
My goodness.
This looks amazing. And lastly, some romaine lettuce. One of the coolest things I think is that they don't use plastic to wrap your vegetables down here. Instead, it's a piece of palm frond.
Come here. Hey, puppy dog. You are so cute, aren't you? Yes, you are. This situation definitely has to be confusing for dogs owned by Westerners, because everybody in our little campground is keeping their social distance, and there's some really cute dogs, and we're missing our dogs right now, and it's so hard not to be loving on them, because there's an adorable little Chihuahua Terrier mix. Just, we love dogs.
She's so happy to see you, too.
Yep.
She's like, hi! And then she's like, why won't you come see me?
Well, that wind is reliably starting to pick up here in Baja, and that little trip to the vegetable stand cost us 65 pesos, which at an 18-to-1 ratio is not bad, but the peso is fluctuating right now, so it might be at 24-to-1, but either way, it's a good deal. It's close, it's sustainable, it's why we kind of love the place that we're at now. Since it was a vegetable only stand, we're gonna pick some of these oranges on our way back to camp. My grandpa always taught me to twist them. It's just one of his things. He's always been, just twist them whenever you pick stuff. These are not seedless navels, so they are best for juicing, but in times like these, I hear vitamin C is good for your health. I'm pretty sure we're the only people using the juicer right now, but given the times that we're in, we're gonna wipe it down and clean it.
Gonna rinse these off before we juice them, and I really wish that we had smell-o-vision so that you could smell how good they are. Let's see how much orange juice we can get from these 30 oranges.
All right, let her rip. Squeeze away.
Here we go, the fun begins.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It's a little anticlimactic, isn't it?
That was a juicy one.
Mm-hmm. It's a big one, too.
Get every drop out of it. Well, since we're on private property, it begs the question, how long can we stay here? Well, we've had the discussion with the owners, and they assured us they're not going anywhere until this mess is cleared up, resolved, or just comfortable with them heading north for the summer, which is also the direction we were planning on heading, so it'll work out just great. This is what the 30 oranges yielded, and I can't lie, we have taken a sip already.
That is so good. We ended up with some lemons, so it's a little bit tart, but tastes amazing. I really wish we could share this with you guys. It's so good.
Well, I hope by now we've made it kind of clear why we have decided to stay here and hide out in Mexico during this COVID-19 situation. Earlier I mentioned lemons to lemonade. Well, this is oranges to orange juice, and might have to turn it into a tequila sunrise.
What do you think, Ben, after a walk all the way to the farm stand and back and making all this
Yeah.
juice? Maybe we should ask them to ready the pool.
Yeah, this is a very sustainable lifestyle as long as nothing changes. But we're taking it day by day, just like all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the Shelter in Place show. Hope you're enjoying these. Comment below. We'd love to hear how you're doing out there in the world. Thanks for watching.